This is Summer Huntington of Steel Mace Vinyasa and FlowShala, and today we're talking about the overhead squat. The overhead squat is one of the most important functional movement assessments that really predicts longevity, mobility in hips, in shoulders, and in thoracic spine. Thus, it's very important that we train each of these aspects of mobility individually so that we can put them all together and increase the depth in our overhead squat. Observe. Overhead squat in a functional movement screen, which is a screen we use at FlowShala to assess mobility, looks like this. You start with the dowel overhead, your arms are in a goalpost about 90 degrees. Generally this would be a stick, and then you stretch your arms overhead. Feet are hip distance apart, and we're looking at the order of operations, what moves first and how we move. To perform an overhead squat well, we should be able to go all the way down, keeping a neutral lower back, keeping the arms straight, keeping the thoracic spine extended. I'll try that one more time so you can see it from both angles. The arms are straight at the elbow joint. You'll see the arms and trunk stay in a line. The order of operations, we start with a hip hinge, and then you have full range of motion in the hip sockets to allow beyond 90-degree depth here. And then the thoracic spine is in extension. While doing this, you have crown to coccyx alignment. Now, most people that I give this functional movement screen to do not have the mobility in either the hips, the thoracic spine, or the shoulders to achieve that depth. We take an approach that allows us to address each of these mobility impairments individually. Some of the common misalignments that I see are bending the knees first instead of hip hinging first. Another one that I see often is people's heels lifting as they come down because they don't have any glute awareness. And then third, I'll see people's backs coming down like this, about parallel to the ground. And then the shoulders, of course, if you can't hold the mace directly overhead, that's indicative of shoulder mobility restrictions. There are a few key Steel Mace Vinyasa exercises that will allow you to get a deeper flat-footed squat. You can start with your mace in a prayer position, elbows tracking in towards the ribs. Start by extending out into a two-handed flag with elbows locked and shoulders packed, and then practice the higher depth of your squat. As you come up, squeeze your glutes to build glute strength and recruit the posterior chain. Again, you can find your hip hinge. So again, we're isolating just the hip hinge here and getting repetitions of a hip hinge with crown to coccyx alignment. The second phase, as you can start to increase your depth here, lean back against the load so that your thoracic extensors start to turn online. Essentially, your mace becomes a tool for you to lean back against to prevent falling over. Try that one more time here. So that's the basic squat to flag position. I want to show you two more variations that can help you to start thinking about where your immobilities lie. In yoga, we have a chair squat, which looks like this. I press my mace overhead, I come down into knees bent, and here I'm working on spine stability, and my knees are tracking an internal rotation. The nice part about this one is you can increase the depth, and you can even sink all the way down to the bottom, hold at the top, and press up. Another variation of this is to actually lift the heels. When you lift the heels and you press the knees together, you're allowing your ankles to get more range of motion here. So you would perform repetitions of this, several on each side, pressing the mace up and overhead, again to recruit your thoracic extensors and work on shoulder flexion. Knees together, come down into your heel lifted chair pose, squeeze, and press back up. Oftentimes, people spend so much time in external rotation that internal rotation is lacking. By performing the loaded chair with the mace, you can actually condition your internal rotators to spiral in, which create more stability in the hip socket. These Steel Mace Vinyasa exercises address just a few of the components of an overhead squat. Start training with those, and we'll address some of the other mobility restrictions in future videos.